got to win. This is your job.
During the war, a lot of people, were working in the factories and things like that. What do you know about that time period? And what were you doing?
In 1943 is when we graduated from high school, Anniston High School up here on Layton. But all the guys went to war. So people don't believe this, but the year that we went to the University of Alabama, it was a totally girls' school. There were no guys on the campus because they were all in training or overseas or doing something for the war effort. Brownouts is when, I don't know whether y'all remember shades or not, when you pulled shades down and they would signal us to pull the shade halfway down. Called it a brownout. I mean, there were...
So you guys actually did that like a civil defense test or something like that?
No, we actually did it because Fort McClellan was right here.
Yeah, okay.
And all the soldiers that were out there were being trained, and there was always that fear that
somebody would
fly in and bomb Fort McClellan, and then we had the Army Depot too.
Sacrifice will win a war, and we've got...
They were very irresponsible, drank a lot. The ones who came back to the University of Alabama drank a lot, went to class drunk, that kind of thing. But looking back now, I guess you can kind of understand why they were so irresponsible.
Yeah.
But our sorority, and I think most of the sororities, did what we thought was our part. For instance, Northington Hospital was out in Tuscaloosa at that time, and that's where they sent some of the men who had been in prison camps overseas. And one of them was from here, Tommy Graham was from here, and so I got a bunch of our sorority. I was a Kappa Delta, and we went out to Northington Hospital and went out to see Tommy, and I could remember the first time I saw him, he just was so thin and just hadn't had any food, and he had terrible stories to tell us about what had happened to him when he was a prisoner of war. And actually, he was the only Annistonian that I knew that was in prison, I believe. I don't think I knew of any others. But there were many that didn't come back.
This is your war, this is my war, this is our war.
During that time, you had the radio, the net TV, nightly coverage of kind of what was going on, if that. You know how it is, you can't turn around with getting some news somewhere.
Right.
And so at the time were people, was it all just waving flags and patriotism and all of this stuff? Or were people just kind of going about their business and knowing in the background that there was a war?
Well, as far as I can remember, I would think it was, some of both. But the Ritz Theater down here, which is now Leary Square, was where we went to the movie, and you would get, I forgot now, I think it was called MOVIETONE or something like that, where da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. You'd get little snippets of what was going on during the war, and also, you saw a lot of women in factories building airplanes, but see, all of that was basically in California and not here in Anniston or in Alabama or Tuscaloosa or Montgomery. So unless you were really into keeping up with all that, And once again, we were kind of sheltered, I think, at the University of Alabama. We just were living our lives and not paying as much attention
You
to
had
it.
more things to occupy you than.
I guess.
Yeah.
I think we were just self-centered, we were just living and doing what we wanted to do and what we were happy doing.
Yeah.
And we probably were not as in tune with what was going on at that time.